Ashe, grand rising to you all, my very beautiful people, my highly enriched melanin people, you the Earth's original and organic humans, aka my fellow Africans. Yes, it is I, the Mystic Philosopher. And yes, it is evident that I'm still here with you on this side of reality. And welcome back to the Mystic Peace, talking again under 15 minutes with the Mystic Philosopher. With the thing. And this is episode 16, I think. I'm losing count. Now back to the topic of discussion, stress on the mind. Or more correctly, the impact that this thing called stress has on the thing that we humans call mind. So, in yesterday's episode, or yesterday talk, I reminded you all to ask yourselves this, that the Mystic Philosopher, do consider to be two very thought-provoking questions. And question number one is, how do I know if I exist? Or how do I know that I exist? And I told you that I think that it is only through the mind, aka my mind's processing mechanism, which is also known as my mental algorithm called thinking, that I know if I exist, that I exist, or that I am existing. I ever quoted the late famous French philosopher René Descartes, who answered these questions by saying, and I quote, "I think, therefore I am." I told you that from my perspective, to think is to live, and to live is to think. Therefore, if you are not thinking, now whatever and however your mind might conceive or define and understand thinking for you. But if you are not thinking, then you are not really and truly living. In fact, from my perspective, if you are not thinking, and above all, if you are not thinking for yourself, then you are literally and physically dead. In other words, as it relates to this side of reality, as we think we know it, you are permanently comatose or comatose. Now, if you are not thinking, then you are just a lump of animated protoplasm that is aimlessly and purposelessly moving around on this planet while being a slave to and for those among us that are the thinkers, that are thinking for you. And to prove my point, if you are one such victim of not thinking, then you will not know, understand, or even bother to think about what I have just said to you. Now, one of you, my very brave independent thinkers, or my very brave independent thinking listeners, asked me these questions. Said, "Mystic, why are you asking all these very complex and philosophical and metaphysical questions? Don't you know that our people are already mentally lazy? That they are black-minded? That they are afraid to think and to think for themselves, and that they are already confused? So why continue to make them even more confused?" That's a question, a very good one. Now, to this I reply that from the Mystic Philosopher's perspective, it is only by provoking them into thinking that they will be awakened, or that they may be awakened and get over their mental retardation, their mental laziness, get over their blackness and black-mindedness, get over their fear through provocation, provoking them to think that they may get over their fear of thinking and begin to think and reason their way out of their confusion. That is the only way that they may be able to achieve order out of chaos, or order out of confusion. Now, the ancient Greek philosopher named Socrates is alleged to have said, and I quote, "An unexamined life is not worth living." Unquote. In other words, an unexamined life is a tragedy rather. And from my perspective, if you are not examining your life, then you are a tragedy. And how do you examine your life? It is by asking yourself questions. That's how we examine our lives. It is by asking yourselves questions, some very difficult, sometimes very personal but pertinent questions. And it is by seeking answers to your questions. From my perspective, whenever you start asking yourself, why? Why anything? Why? That is when your mental algorithm starts to initialize. And so today, I would like to add a few more very thought-provoking questions to the mix, and ask that you please ask them of yourself. Number one, do I exist? Ask yourself, do I exist? Not do the Mystic Philosopher exist, but do I exist? Just ask yourself the question. Number two, do I really exist? Number three, where do I exist? Yeah, where? Where do I exist? Number four, does the universe exist? Questions. Number five, and if the universe exists, then where does it exist? Where does it, meaning the universe, exist? And number six, am I in the universe, or is it the universe that is in I? And number seven, am I in the mind, or is it the mind that is in I? And number eight, and finally, for now, if you think or know that you are stressed, some say stressed out, however, thinking with your own mind, if you are stressed out, however, thinking with your own mind, however, the way thinking with your own mind may have defined stress or stressed out to be, then please ask yourself the question, why am I stressed? Or why am I stressed? Present or past tense or future tense, up to you. And how can I resolve this problem called stress? Just ask yourself, begin to ask yourself these questions. But in the interest of time, this is on the 15th, I think I will have to end it here and pick up back on this and other points another time. So, again, I invite you to please join me if or when I am talking again in episode 17, where and when I will be picking up from where I am now leaving off here, talking and focusing on stress on the mind, or more correctly, the impact that this thing called stress has on the thing that we humans call the mind. In the meantime, and between time, please let me play at least a verse or two of a song for you. Because some are asking, you stop singing now. I can't stop singing, but I love to talk more. Yeah, it's called What a Wonderful World. You see, I see trees of green, red roses too, and I see them blue for me and you. Guess what? And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Ooh, I see skies of blue, clouds of white, a bright blessed day, dark sacred night. Yeah, and I think to myself, oh yeah, what a wonderful world. Ooh, you see, colors of the rainbow are so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of all the people going by. And I see friends shaking hands, they sing, how do you do? They're really saying that I love you. Ooh. And I hear little babies cry, and I watch them grow. You see, they learn much more than I ever know. And I just think to myself, oh, what a wonderful world. Oh yeah. The mystic think to himself, such a wonderful world. Oh yeah, oh yeah. And please remember, my people, yesterday's history, it too is dead and gone. No more to come back. Tomorrow is a mystery. It too may never come. Today is a gift, which is why we call it the present. And so I hereby implore you, I'm imploring you to live for today. And by live, I mean claim your natural birthrights and fulfill your life with joy. And then hope for tomorrow. Thanks again for your time and for listening. Not for following, but for listening. I am the Mystic Philosopher. Ashe, 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 I say.